Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm driving home on this lovely Friday evening, ready for that weekend, but that's not why you're here. Today, I want to talk to you about the most common money mistakes that you may be making and that are keeping you poor. And these are all mistakes that I myself have made or am working my way out of, I should say. And I hope that this gives you some insight as to what else is available to you. So let's, without further ado, get started. I got my notes here. All right, the first, and I think the biggest money mistake that people make is not getting financial education in some way, shape, or form. And this is the biggest one because you don't know what you don't know. And if you are knowledgeable about money and taxes and the way that the economy and the businesses work, then you can take advantage of those incentives and taxes and all the things that make rich people rich without having to work for a paycheck. So what I mean by this mostly is you learn how money operates. You learn what exactly our U.S. money is, or wherever your money is from, whatever country you're from. You learn what that is. Is it just a value that is backed by a government promise that the value is there? Is it backed by gold? Does $1 equal 1 ounce of gold or whatever? Is it something else that I don't know about? Is your money cryptocurrency and it's backed by the promise that there are people backing it, and that is the value of the money? But yeah, you learn about money, you learn about economics, the way it operates, and it doesn't have to be complicated economics. It doesn't have to be math ridden. It doesn't have to be a big, huge commitment. You just need to learn the basics of how money comes in and how money goes out. So, for example, a very simple example would be you have a job, probably. I have a job, and that's how my money comes in. And how does my money go out every single month? Well, it goes out in mortgages and car payments and student loan payments and utilities and food and insurance. Those are all of the ways it goes out. So if I've got money in, I've got money going out. I've got money going out, I have to have money coming in. That's a very simple example. But when you become financially educated, you learn that there are other ways for money to come in. So maybe you spend your time 20% of the time doing your job or whatever you love to do, the parts of your job that you love. So for instance, if I was to spend 20% of my time doing the parts of my job that I love, I would create Excel spreadsheets or improve processes, for 20% of my day, and I would spend the other 80% of my day, gardening, which is what I love to do, reading, which is what I love to do. And I would still earn the same amount of money because I know how the money system works and I own the things that make me money. So that's why it's so important to get financially educated. And I think for a long time I've been learning that way, and it can take some time for you to implement the steps of that learning process, especially if you are risk averse or if you have other considerations, such as you have a family to take care of, or it's just not the right time for you. All of those can be factors. I'm not saying today is the day to go out and quit your job. I'm saying that today is the day to start learning about it, about what it is that you have a yearning for. If you yearn to invest in the stock market, today's the day to start learning about the stock market. If you love real estate, today's the day to start learning about how to invest in real estate. And then you can create a plan to implement those steps. That takes me to my second money mistake. And this is a big one that I have made, and that is not having a focus or a plan. I say this is a big one for me because I went to college, and I've mentioned it in a lot of my other videos. I went to college without a focus. I, bought into the fact that people said, go to school, get good grades, get a degree, and that will get you a good job. Well, I went to school and I got good grades in high school, and then I went to college and I racked up a lot of student debt because college, I just honestly didn't want to go. I hated school when I was in it. I did well because I had to go to school, to high school, and finish that grade, but college was optional. And even though I was convinced through what I was told and what everybody believes, that college is not optional to get you a foot in the door at a good job, because of that, I racked up a lot of student loan debt, and I'm not taking any responsibility from myself. These were my decisions. I was just making uneducated decisions, and I don't blame anybody in my life for that except me. And that's why it is important to be financially educated when you make these kinds of decisions. So to get back to the mistake of not having a focus, I went to school because I was supposed to. That's what I was supposed to do, to go to college. That was the next step in the plan. But I had no idea what I wanted to study. I ended up studying English literature because I like to read, and I was told that, just major in what you love and you can find a career that goes along with it. That is not what you should do, just so you know. And from my personal experience, I guess I can say that this is all my own personal experience and not any of it is financial advice. But I'm telling you right now, the advice is do not go to college if you do not know what to do. Find something that you want to do and want to study that will give you a return on the investment you're making in your education. So I'm not saying don't go to college at all. Don't take that the wrong way. I'm saying have a focus when you go to college. A focus that's going to give you a return on your money that you're putting into your education. And not having that focus can be detrimental. I didn't want to teach. I knew what I didn't want to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And because of that, I never really attained any skills that could help me in my current job. Yes, I can write a mean business email, but I can't tell somebody specifically what the skills are that I learned within my degree, other than, grammar and critical thinking. How do you quantify critical thinking? You can't. So have a focus. That not only applies to school, but it applies to finances as well. If you don't have a focus, you're just going to spend your money. What are you working for? Why do you go to work every morning? Do you go to work every morning just to pay your bills? Maybe it's time to reassess that. Do you want to make more income? Is more cash flow your goal? Well, have a focus that gets you closer to that goal each and every day. Right now, instead of going to work just to pay my bills, I'm going to work because that cash flow is going to get me into a different phase of life where I can invest and my money will then make me money. And that's what I'm working towards. That's why I get up and go to work every day now. And let me tell you, it's a lot more enjoyable to go to work every day when you have a bigger goal in mind. If you are the type of person that you are a doctor and you go to work because your goal is to help people, that is a big purpose and it's a valuable one. And that's why doctors make a lot of money. But people who are successful, they have goals and their plans get them closer each and every day to those goals. So have a plan, make a plan, have a goal. Another one that I've made, and up until recently, is that you need to get on the same page and team up with your significant other when it comes to finances. I'm not saying you should combine your finances or have separate finances. I think that's a totally personal decision. Some people work better when they're separate. Some people work better when their finances are together. Personally, we started, when we got married, we integrated our finances together because we had such low paying jobs that in order to pay our bills every month, we had to combine our finances. Every penny went toward our bills. And we've operated under that ever since because it works for us. And that's fine. But if you have one goal in mind and your significant other has another goal in mind and you're kind of just pulling in two different directions, you aren't focused, first of all. And second of all, if you're pulling in different directions, it's going to hurt you. It's not going to help you. But what happens when you team up with that person? You make them your partner and you both work toward the same goal. Well, you can only get so far working by yourself because you only have so much time and resources. Add another whole person to that mix. Add another whole person's time and resources to that mix, and you have twice the benefits coming for that one goal. And I've seen this recently because we're getting a business started up, and I think that our specialties, my husband and I, we have such different personalities and such different specialities that our personalities just complement each other. Like I am more of a big picture person, and he is much better with the details and action oriented than I ever have been. I've had to learn how to take action, and he is more of a take action kind of guy. So if you complement each other in those ways, use that to your advantage. But the big thing about that, the big takeaway from this mistake is to make sure you and your significant other are on the same team with a similar goal in mind and pulling in the same direction and not opposite directions. And I'm not saying you have to be exactly alike either. I just said that we complement each other, and that's a good thing. So that is another mistake that is easy to fix and will help you get closer to your goals every single day. Let's look at my notes here because I got a few more. Ooh, here's a big one, especially for women. I feel like we really, maybe it's just me, but I really struggled with this one, is asking for help from a mentor or finding a mentor. People who are successful at what they do, and I'm still learning about this a lot, just as a disclaimer, I've just found that people that are successful at what they do and love what they do and do what they do for a living, they are more than willing to help out for free. And all you have to do is ask. I personally struggle big time asking for help because I feel like I've let myself down if I haven't done it myself. Or, I just feel like, I feel like that other people's time is also valuable because I think my time is so valuable and I don't have enough of it. But people who are successful likely will have the time to take you under their wing if you just ask for it. And if they don't, the worst they can say is no, and you look for somebody else that's just as good of a mentor that can give you just as good of advice. So look for your mentors and look for them in the divisions that your goals are in. For instance, if your goal is to become financially educated, maybe look on YouTube. They can come from anywhere. Look on YouTube for a mentor that aligns with your values and is a similar financial status as you would like to be. So find somebody that is an investor to get advice from. Find somebody that is buying real estate and renovating it and flipping the house to get advice on flipping houses. Don't ask, your neighbor who has never bought a stock in his life about the stock market. You want to find a mentor who has experience in the things you are driving toward to help you out. And all you have to do is ask. I've learned a lot about asking for help over the last year, and let me tell you, I have asked for help with my kids in babysitting. I have asked for help with my laundry, and fortunately I have people in my life who are able to help me with these things and glad to help if I am struggling and in need of it. I have asked for help with my work because during the pandemic I had some struggles with getting my work done, so I have had to ask for help with that portion of my job. I have had to ask for help now with getting started in investing. We've had to ask for help to get our business on the right path. I can't tell you how many people we've asked for help with this business since the idea was started, since the idea came to light last year. So there is no shame, I think, in asking for help, and I think sometimes there are successful people out there just waiting for somebody to ask. They like to share the information of how they became successful usually because they're excited about that information being used by someone else to get just as successful. Success is not finite. Money is not finite. So it's not like rich people are trying to tear you down so that they can become richer. No, rich people are trying to build you up so you can become successful and you both can become richer together. So I think that we have sort of a limited mindset when it comes to time and money, and we think that there is a finite amount of money in this world that we have to compete for. That's not true. There is a finite amount of time in this world, but successful people are willing to give it if you are willing to ask. Ooh, and the last money mistake is doing what everybody else does with their money. This is a big one, and it's hard to know where to start with this, because I think from a very small age, unless you have somebody who is rich and successful in your life directly teaching you, you are taught how not to be financially independent. You are taught to be dependent on the job that you work for. You're taught to be an employee. You're taught to, in school, not to make mistakes and not to learn by doing, but learn by listening and seeing and watching, but not taking action. And you only take action when you've learned it. You're not really taught how to fail and recover from that. And I think that you can just take a look around at everybody else and see that everybody else looks successful, but they're probably living paycheck to paycheck just like you are. And that, to me, is not the definition of success. So why would I want to do the same things that the people around me are doing if I don't want to be the same as the people around me? Why would I get up, go to my job every day, and come home at the end of the month just to pay my bills and nothing more, when I want to not work for a living? That's my goal. When I want to create a living that goes on even when I'm not working. If I'm not getting advice from people who are doing that, then I'm in the wrong spot, right? Why would I, and if I had to do over again, why would I go to school and rack up thousands and thousands of loans and student debt when I can find a job? Might be harder, but I could have found a job or a trade of some kind that I could have earned with much less money, much less time, and would give me a higher paying job than I have now. It's just something to think about. So that's a big one. If you don't want to be like everybody else, don't do what everybody else is doing. And that's something that I have been trying to get away from for years and years, and it is hard. Because you have been ingrained for all of your life to think about money in a certain way, and to think about jobs and security in a certain way, and think about risks in a certain way, it is hard to break free of that and realize that what is the worst that could happen is the best question you could answer honestly to yourself. And without that question, and without knowing how to do that and practicing that, then you will be stuck. If you're feeling stuck, maybe this is the reason why. So yes, don't do what everybody else is doing. And I think there's one last one. Oh yeah, the big mistake of, and I still do this, is working for your money, working for your income. So when you have a job, you are earning your income. Your hours equals dollars. But wealthy people know that your hours do not equal dollars. It is the things that you own, the assets that you own, that put money in your pocket. And that's what makes you rich. So, like I said, I'm still learning about this, so it's really hard for me to articulate it, but know that working for your money is not the goal. If you are going to become a doctor just because of the high paycheck that it gives you, I don't think that should be your goal. I think your goal, if you want to become a doctor, is because you want to help people. Sure, there is a high paycheck that goes along with that, but working for your money should not be the goal. And if you are working for your money and that is your goal, then you will not become financially successful. It's just not going to happen, because you can never earn enough money to fund a lifestyle like that. I guess you could. I guess there are people that fund their lifestyle when they earn money by their job. I should take that back. Correcting myself right here live on video, but working for your money for me is not the goal. It depends on your definition of financial freedom or financial success. For me, that is not the goal. For me, financial freedom and financial success is me not having to work for my money, to be able to do what I love despite my income, despite what money is coming in. Doesn't matter if I, decide to sleep one day and decide to go out and garden the next day, decide to read a book one day, I still get the same amount of money because I own assets that will pay me that money day in and day out, no matter my schedule. That is financial freedom for me, and working for my money does not get me any closer to that goal. Buying assets will get me closer to my goal, and that's what I work for. I work for money right now so that I can buy assets that will get me money later, and returns that do not go away when I stop working. So there you have it. There are the most common money mistakes that people make, and some of the mistakes that I have made, definitely. All of them. I guess all of them are mistakes that I have made, and some that I'm still making and learning how to get out of. I hope that helps you out. I hope that you are interested. If you have questions about this, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit the like button so that the YouTube algorithm will send this to other financial other people who are learning to become more financially educated. Until next time, I will see you later. Bye.